From Petaluma High School, it's the NCS Semifinals in varsity girls soccer. The Campolindo Cougars and the Petaluma Trojans. And a very good evening, everyone. I am Griffin Epstein, joining you from Steve Ellison Field for the biggest game in varsity girls soccer in Petaluma program history, as the Trojans, with a win tonight, will book a spot in the NCS championship game for the first time in girls soccer history on the west side here of the small California town. What a night it could be, but the NCS defending champion Campolindo Cougars will no doubt have something to say about it in the semifinal, as they are looking to go back-to-back. A powerhouse, a longtime powerhouse in Campolindo. They have 7 NCS championships against a rising one in the Trojans, looking for their signature victory. Should be a thriller. Let's head out onto the field, Jamie, as all the players are ready to go, and so are we. Campolindo in the white with the purple letters. Petaluma in the purple with the white letters. We're underway. NCS semifinal here at Steve Ellison Field. It's the first time Petaluma's in the NCS semis since 2013. Lambert, a quick turnover. The nerves are going to be high, no doubt, on both sides, but especially for the Trojans. The Cougars are used to this moment. They won NCS last year, defeating Annalee 3-0 in the NCS final. Trojans are coming off a dominant 3-0 victory over El Cerrito on Saturday in the quarterfinals to advance to the NCS semifinals. It was a good win for the Cougars as well, 3-1 over rival Acalanes on Saturday. If you missed that game against El Cerrito, that's up on our YouTube channel. Really was a great atmosphere at Ellison Field for that one. And we hope you're enjoying this one live. It's our first live game. So far, the Cougars with early possession here. Trojans had a slow start on Saturday, as you see Lambert clear it up. And wouldn't be shocked to have it here again. The nerves are going to be high, and the Trojans need to establish themselves, but it might take a moment for them. Got the score in the top left-hand corner here. It's a much quieter night than Saturday night. Stands are pretty minimally full. It's very chilly on this Wednesday night, but there still are plenty of students and supporters for Petaluma. The Cougars have brought them as well. Trojans run it down the end line, and it's going to be the first corner of the evening for Petaluma as an electric offense tests the weakness of the Cougars, their defense, and especially their goalkeeping. Rocha to take the corner. Short corner, sent dangerously in. Not out of the woods, and that one's fired way too high. The Trojans maybe finding their footing there with the first corner. The Cougars defensively give up over a goal per match, and they've given up 18 goals over the course of the year. And their starting goalkeeper, Mallory Lewis, the junior, has had struggles at times this year. 10 goals allowed on the season, 46 saves on 56 shots on goal for Lewis. The Trojans can get good shots in on Lewis. They've got opportunities. They did that against El Cerrito and some weak goalkeeping, and it absolutely worked to a T. Lauren Hazel's first goal in the 20th minute really helped Petaluma pick up their pace. There is Hazel, who had 2 goals on Saturday night for the Trojans. So the Cougars looking to get their offense going. They've got plenty of goal scorers themselves. Again, I'm part of this exceptional Petaluma defense. They are so experienced, and they are the bedrock of the Trojans, led by Lambert, a senior that will be headed off to college next year to play soccer. And they were dominant, no doubt, on Saturday night against El Cerrito. Savannah Sessi, the Trojans keeper, only had to see 2 shots the whole game, which was the 3rd fewest in any game all year long against a Gaucho team that had a lot of talent. Petaluma defense was locked in, and it led to their offense. Petaluma got going over the course of the game. Cougars moving the ball well. Colombanini. And then this one is just fired near the net. Well over. First shot of the game by Savannah DiCarlo, the senior forward. One of only 3 seniors on the Cougars. McGannon will nod it out. Cougars starting aggressive here against the Trojans. Head coach Luis Pino in his first year. But the Cougars, as we mentioned in the open, no shortage of NCS success. 6 NCS titles. And last year, 13-8-1. They were the 2nd seed in NCS Division III. Beat Kennedy in the semifinals 2-1, who Petaluma lost to last year in the quarterfinals. And then beat the Trojans' old foe, Annalee, 3-0 in the finals, and went on actually to play in the CIF State Championships, Division III. They lost in the first round to Sacred Heart as a 7 seed, 3-2. Whoever wins this game will probably get an invitation to the state championships, win or lose on Saturday in the NCS championship game. You've gone this far, you got to be pretty good at soccer. Both these teams are. Petaluma 16-0-3 on the year. Campolindo 12-4-3. The Trojans have not lost all season long. Cougars with early possession here. Lambert clearing it away. She had a big game against the Gauchos, who had some talented playmakers. She didn't allow much. Rocha with the clear, but not out of the woods yet. Crysdale bumping it forward, looking for Rocha, with Ortman chasing after her. And now the Trojans can get out on the run. They got a fast break that forced a corner. Trying to get that again, especially with Hazel on the right side. She has been on a tear of late. Dangerous play for McGannon. She lost it. Lambert on an island now, and just slipping and falling was the Cougar. Lambert clears it to get the cheer from the Trojan supporters. Mia Colombanini on the clear. And 7 minutes gone here in this first half. We've got no score from Steve Ellison Field in the NCS semifinals for girls soccer. A spot in the NCS championship game on the line. Man, what that would mean for this Petaluma program. Team that has a place that Petaluma has never gone before, but this team finished the regular season undefeated, won the first league pennant since 2013. They're special. Lambert able to get a piece of that, but JoJo Flower, who I have to say has one of the best names on the Cougars, able to get into the box, and trouble brewing early here for Petaluma. There is some bite to the Cougars' bark. Colombanini sends it in. Great header by Crysdale just to knock it out. Cougars average 2.6 goals per match, 47 goals over the course of the year. And they'll be looking for Celia Campo, the junior, who we haven't seen a lot from just yet. She leads them with 11 goals, of Sienna DiCarlo at 10 goals, falling up right behind. If you were watching the El Cerrito game, the Gauchos' issue was they were really one-dimensional. They had a couple players that were much better than everyone else. The Cougars are much more spread out. Lambert able to get a piece of that. She's already playing a terrific game. And quickly an important force for Petaluma. Needs to establish something on the offensive end here. Herman looking for Crysdale a little bit too far. Some of the nerves that we've seen from Petaluma a lot early in games. Saturday night was not the first time we saw them start slow. They started slow against Casa Grande here in the game that would go a long way towards deciding the VVAL title. It nearly cost them. An own goal by Casa saved them in that and getting a draw. It's one part of the game Petaluma would like to see a little bit better. And this Cougar team so far, they are reading the Petaluma passes. They're controlling the ball, and they're patient too. And it's gonna take patience and precision to break this Petaluma defense. What a defense they have been this year. Absolutely dominant. Savannah Sessi has been a big part of that, of goalkeeping as well. As Petaluma defense and Sessi has pitched 11 shutouts over the course of the year. And the team overall only gives up under half a goal per game. Sessi hasn't had to get involved yet, but the freshman keeper has been a revelation for Petaluma. Has to be one of the best goalkeepers in all the North Bay, is only a freshman. She has made some big saves over the course of the year when Petaluma has needed her. Trojans getting to Frothinger, who has excellent speed and can provide some runs down the left flank. She did against the Gauchos. It got her a goal late. A little cherry on top in the closing seconds of that one as Petaluma 1-3 now. Knocked out, stays the Trojans and Frothinger's ball. The junior defender, 5 goals, 5 assists, 3-year varsity player and a co-captain, part of the excellent experience on Petaluma with 8 seniors, but 13 players out of 22 on the roster returned to this team from last year, and basically the entire starting lineup, with the exception of the goalkeeper, returned for Petaluma. They have used their experience, no doubt. Guggenhauer knocks it out. Petaluma will be looking towards the senior as well, second on the team, and scoring with 11 goals. Senior midfielder can shoot from anywhere. She nailed one off the post on Saturday, and Hazel picked up the scraps. That was a big momentum-changing goal, made it 2-0 right before the half. Really put Petaluma in control. Exceptional job by Frothinger to get the steal as Flower was thrown to the ground like a limp dandelion. Well, the energy on both sides is apparent. This is a higher level of soccer than you'll see on most fields around California. Petaluma's the 2 seed. Campolindo is the 3 seed. And the Cougars do have some losses, but they played in a very good Diablo league, including with the number 1 seed in NCS Miramonte and Northgate, who is the number 2 seed in the better NCS Division 2. So Cougars have certainly been tested a lot more than Petaluma, who really beat up most opponents in the VVAL with the exception of Casa Grande. Trojans looking for Herman out wide. Herman's got some space, fires, scores! And a Herman has struck, and Petaluma has struck first blood in the NCS semifinals. The stands are up, and a cool Ellison Field has quickly warmed up. Hannah Herman, out of nothing, has made it 1-0 Petaluma. That is why this Trojan team knows how to win. They have been dominated early in this one, and Herman gets out on the run, uses her speed, and she was off to the races, and an exceptional finish past a Cougar keeper that has struggled for most of the year. Goal scored in the 12th minute, and Petaluma leads 1-0. I want to keep on pushing, but Petaluma fans have dreamed about this all year long, an NCS championship. Something that almost never comes about in Petaluma sports. It's hard to compete with the powers of the East Bay, but this girls' soccer program has certainly gotten there. Herman tallies her 6th goal on the season. The 2-year co-captain has certainly a goal to remember. She slotted it by Mallory Lewis. Only 2 shutouts on the year for the Cougars. They don't slow offenses down for the most part. Granted, a tough schedule. Petaluma's quickly taken that away from them. Hernandez Ramirez pass is intercepted. And this speed by Ella Colombanini speeds it to her sister twin Mia. Back across, wide open, firing, scores! That was absolutely superb. It's Celio Campo who totals her 12th goal of the year, and we are just like that, knotted at 1. That could have not been more gorgeous offense by Campolindo. Tick, tock, toe. And there was little Silsesi or this defense could do. the twin sisters, Mia and Ella, hooking up down the wing, and it left the most dangerous weapon on Campolindo all alone. Colombanini really started it, though, with her speed. So quickly, both sides will have to regroup, but we talked about this game being electric. I thought with this Petaluma defense it might turn into a low-scoring affair, but with the talent and goal-scoring prowess, could very well be the other way around. The Cougars have been in a lot of high-scoring games this year for a team that scores nearly 3 goals a match. Have some people tuning in. Oh, I appreciate the compliment from Colton. Was all dressed up today. We got Kenny Alexander, one of the more talented Petaluma athletes. Well, Pareto, both Pareto and Alexander. Been a lot of fun to cover this year, basketball, wrestling, football. This one is a long shot by Ortman. Ceci scoops it up for her first save of the night. Nice to get the ball in the hands of the freshman after she gives up the goal. And it is certainly cold here at Ellison Field. It's about 40 degrees, but the wind has been blowing. And obviously, if you didn't want to brave it, you're enjoying the fire at home, the warmth of your heating system, and still able to enjoy the game. Foul called on Frothinger. I don't think they were going to give it, but Flower again went down like a dandelion in distress, and they gave it to her. Dangerous corner. Muganum clears it away. And then Crysdale got a big boot on it. Watch out for Hazel in this aggressive Trojan offense. So the counterattacks have been lethal. 1 goal, 1 corner off it. Otherwise, the ball's been in the Cougars' court. The Trojans are not going to be able to survive this game on the back foot of the Cougars' offensive prowess. They are going to need to start taking initiative and take control, which is something they've played with really all year long. Even in the games that have been pretty even, against Casa Grande, Terra Linda, the 3-2 victory over El Cerrito back in December, Petaluma was the team in control of the game offensively. And early here, it's been Campolindo. And Petaluma, I don't know if they know how to play if they're not in control offensively. They've just been that good. They always are. But this Cougars team, they're unlike anything Petaluma has seen this year, and it is the ultimate test to try to make it to an NCS championship game. Good defense down the flank. Good student section has come out. About 30 students, I'd say, nearly outnumbering the rest of the parents, community members in the stands. And they have been very vocal, trying to help out their Trojan fellow students on the pitch. Colombanini, Mia and Ella are freshman twins, and then they've got an older sister in Julia Colombanini on the defensive end. That's 3 Colombaninis to count. Part of this deep, young, but very talented Cougar team who's improved over the course of the year. Rocha was thrown to the ground, no call. She's in some pain. They play on. Might have called advantage. Now another hard play that the refs, for the most part, let them play. We saw it on Saturday night, too. These refs, it's the playoffs. They want to let them play. Rocha is still struggling off on the sideline. She's limping, and Petaluma might need a sub for Rocha because she is not moving well at all. As it comes back over to her, you can see her. She is in some pain right now, and Coach Babala did not have a sub up, but very quickly, the Trojans are looking like they're going to get Katrina Rodriguez ready. And unfortunately, for Petaluma, they are going to lose, at least for the moment, one of their best players. Trojans have dealt with some injuries this year, especially late. 2 of their best players, Melissa Rocha and Athena Edwards, 2 offensive weapons over the course of the year. Both out for this game and likely for the rest of the year. Edwards got a concussion, and in a practice, Rocha got a knee contusion, but both have been out for the last 3 weeks, and Petaluma survived without them. Rocha getting tended to. Katrina Rodriguez, the freshman, will enter for Petaluma. Rocha able to get up on her own power, not as big as a limp as she saw earlier. You hope she's able to battle through it and by the second half be back out there. She is a defensive weapon for Petaluma, but she can turn that into offense. She has 3 assists on the year. Lambert into the box. Dangerous. Just deflected out. Petaluma now, they have this opportunity. Needs to build a rhythm, find something offensively. Once you can build a rhythm offensively, you can really maintain it, as Hazel crossed it in, but this time Mallory Lewis, the junior keeper, able to come out and get it. Lewis allowed 1. It was a good shot by Herman, but certainly one I think Lewis would have wanted to have back. It was not a good angle for Herman, and she beautiful finish into the left-hand corner to make it 1-0, but the Cougars answered just 4 minutes later with a goal of their own. Frothinger right through the defense, and it's cleared out. An excellent move by Zoe Frothinger. And this Trojan offense, maybe inspired by a wounded counterpart, starting to make some ripples. The winner of this game will face the winner of the other NCS semifinal going on right now in Orinda. Miramonte, the #1 seed, taking on Annalee. And what a storyline it would be if Petaluma would face Annalee in the NCS championship game. All the great battles those teams have had over the year in SCL, the first year non-SCL, and if they can meet in the NCS championship game. And neither program has ever won an NCS title before. But Petaluma's got to focus on this. They got a dogfight on their hand a quarter of the way through. Goggenhauer's corner dangerous, and a good head put on it by Hazel. A little off the mark. The Trojans so far set pieces have been brilliant. Some dangerous corners and a good free kick by Lambert you just saw as well. 11 viewers currently tuned in. We appreciate everyone watching our very first girls soccer live stream ever here on Trojan Live, but for one of the biggest games in Petaluma athletics in a long time, and we couldn't miss out on bringing it to you live. Crysdale was looking for Barry. The Cougars able to run it down, but now this Trojan defense pushing their way up, and they're not allowing the Cougars possession. This is more like it for Petaluma. Trojans are aggressive, they're physical, they're not afraid to bump and bruise you, and they've done it to the tune of 3.3 goals per match, 92 goals over the year, and they share the ball too, 51 assists. Hazel leads the Trojans with 13 goals, and we mentioned she's been on a tear of late, 6 goals in her last 4 games. Hazel and Goggenhauer, who Petaluma looks for, but they've already seen Herman get involved. Goggenhauer got the ball taken away from her. Colombanini trying to get on the run. That's not good news for Petaluma. She might be the speediest player on the pitch. The Cougars trying to go after Rodriguez, the freshman, but Rodriguez has gotten some playing time with Petaluma getting banged up. She actually scored against American Canyon, Petaluma's VVL clincher. She's not going to be afraid of this moment. Even with the experience Petaluma has, the 8 underclassmen on the Trojans are talented as well. The future is bright in Petaluma soccer. Uganum got the deflection, pinballing dangerously. Lambert could not be more secure back there, but she just clears it away. This Cougar team shoots the ball a lot, 13.1 shots per match, and 8.8 of those are shots on goal. Very aggressive under head coach Luis Pinto. Lambert just has to clear it away. You might wonder, why was this Cougars team not #1? Especially they beat Miramonte back on January 21st, 1-0. But it's mainly for some early season struggles. The Cougars are pretty young. They have just 3 seniors, and 12 of their 24 players are underclassmen. They were losing games early in the year, but out of late they have been on a roll. Rodriguez clears it. Colombanini battling. She got a foot on that. Petaluma gets it back out to midfield, and the Cougars can reset. Campo has won 8 out of their last 9 since their last loss. Only a tie to break that winning streak. So they have not lost all the way back since January 14th against El Cerrito, who Petaluma just saw. 5-3 loss to the Gauchos. In the very next game, they beat rival Miramonte 1-0. That clearly turned around their season after they struggled early in the year. They tied to Acalanes, lost to Heritage. They lost 3 out of their first 4 of the year. A young team, that's with a new coach, that's to be expected. Especially after you win an NCS title, you can have a little bit of a hangover as well. Over the course of the season, they played in a good league. They have found their stride, and they have become very, very dangerous. Petaluma's seen that early here, 1-1 from Steve Ellison Field. We are live for this NCS girls soccer semifinal. And it has been a good one so far. The Cougars about 60-40 on possession. Colombanini scores! What an angle, what a shot, what a goal. Mia Colombanini fires it in, and Silvana Sessi does not give up cheap goals, but I think we just saw one. The angle was so far, she was nearly outside of the box. Way off to the side. You would never expect her to shoot, and I think it just shocked Sessi. She put it right in the corner before the freshman keeper could let one in. Silvana Sessi, who's only given up 8 goals the entire year, looked furious with herself. And the Cougars, after giving up the opening goal, have rebounded. They now lead 2-1. Colombanini, only a freshman, but these Colombanini twins, they're something special. She's got an assist and a goal. Colombanini leads in assists, and Celia Campo's got a goal as well. Barry gets it to Herman. Was looking for a running Rodriguez, but in the end, she's not going to be the same as Rocha. What a hard play on the sideline. This game has been much more physical than I've seen most of the year. They did call a foul. The Campolindo fans, about 50 of them, have made the hour drive northwest from Moraga, a little hamlet in the East Bay. They were not happy with that. They wanted a card, but the way they've called this, it didn't deserve it. Colombanini again in the box, and Lambert just having to clear it away. And the Trojans need to solve the Colombanini puzzle, or they're going to be in trouble. Trojans clear it back down, and Lewis scoops it back up. Just one save for her so far on the night. The Cougars' offense has been in control. Sessi has already tied the most goals she's given up in a year in one game, and it was 2 goals against El Cerrito back on December 12th, I should say, and game that Petaluma won 3-2. She's not used to letting up goals, and she's been so strong mentally all season long. Well, the freshman keeper in I think the hardest mental position in all of sports, be able to stay strong, because you know she's going to have to come up with some big saves to win. Frothinger's bumped, and they call a foul. This has been bumping, bruising, knocking players over. There's likely going to be some cards out at some point tonight. This is NCS playoff soccer with a spot on the championship game on the line. Hazel got a foot on it, but nothing more. 12 minutes remain in the first half. Campolindo 2, Petaluma 1. Crysdale. Back to Muganum. Intercepted. Petaluma needs to develop those passes from their defense to their midfielders. It's so vital in soccer. You got to connect those passes in the midfield, and you got to establish the presence in that middle third between the 40-yard lines to really get your offense going. If you don't, the other team's going to have possession. Makes those defensive midfielders like Hernandez Ramirez so vital. Cougars clear. This could be a war of attrition and endurance as well. A lot of running up and down the field. You no doubt legs are going to be tired, especially after both teams played Saturday. I don't know what Hazel was trying to do there. She had an open look, but nodded it right to a Cougar player. Trojans continue to run their offense on the left side through Frothinger. They're used to running it through the right side with Melissa Rocha, but in all likelihood out for the year with a knee contusion. She suffered in practice before. Trojans' essential VVL clinching victory over Casa Grande, their biggest victory of the season to date. 2-1 victory over the Gauchos, but Rocha was out for that game, and winning that, I think, really gave them some confidence. They can win with this collection of players, even if a couple are banged up. Good steal by Barry, but she quickly gives it back up. Another senior. Petaluma has 8 seniors on their squad. Trojans trying to establish a pace in the middle of the field. A talented sophomore Crysdale returns to varsity. Standing season last year. 5 goals, 5 assists on the year for Crysdale. Herman. Excellent build-up by the Trojans. Head coach Deegan Babala will be saying more of the same of that in the locker room in 10 minutes. 10 minutes to go. Out of 40 in the first half. 2 40-minute halves. If we're tied at the end of regulation, we would head to extra time, which is not sudden death. 30 minutes of extra time. Who's ever winning then would win. If we're still tied, we would go on to the lottery. That is penalty kicks. Head coach Deegan Babala's foul on Petaluma. Babala in his 3rd year. He's 42-14-6 overall. 3-2 in NCS. His first 2 years with the Trojans, they lost in the quarterfinals of the North Coast section playoff. Last year falling to Kennedy 1-0. The year before falling to Monty 5-0. But this year able to get the victory. Colombanini dancing. Frothinger just got a piece of it to avoid it getting towards Ceci. Man, is Mia Colombolini creating a lot of headaches for Petaluma. And often when the best player on the field is creating a difference, you got to start double teaming. Interesting to see if Babala decides to do that. Petaluma looking for Burnett, who just entered a little bit too far. Burnett, the sophomore midfielder, is in there for her speed. 2 goals on the year, but one of the biggest goals of the season for Petaluma, an equalizer over State Power Marin Academy. The Wildcats of San Rafael, top 40 in the nation, top 20 in the state. And the Trojans, courtesy of a late second half Burnett equalizer, got a draw with them to keep their undefeated run alive, something they have found a way to do all year long. The other Colombanini, Ella, will take a seat. This Cougar team is deep, even with their youth. And when you're at this point, you're in late February, you've played for 4 months, practiced for 5 months. Even the underclassmen aren't really underclassmen. Everyone's an experienced varsity player. I'd say on both sides that rings true. Ceci comes out to take it. Under 8 to go here from Steve Ellison Field in the first half. We'll try to get you a score of Miramonte and Annalee to see who the winner will face. In the NCS Championship game, it will be Saturday night at a neutral site, normally closer to the higher seed. Last year, it was at Rancho Cotati, as Annalee was the 1 seed, but Campo ran all over them 3-0 in the championship game. They know how to win in NCS. Colin, the top defender for the Cougars, will clear it away, leads them with 9 steals on the year. Dangerous send in towards the box. That's all you can ask if you're Petaluma. Give our best players, Goggenhauer, Hazel, clinical finishers, some challenge, some opportunities. Trojans with just 2 shots on goal. One of those was the goal. Not used to that for a team that is so electric offensively. Be interesting to see what adjustments are made at halftime, 6 minutes away. The Cougars have just done a nice job defensively. They just cleared the ball away. They haven't allowed Petaluma to build a rhythm at all. Seen Guggenhauer be neutralized early. Hazel's been really quiet considering how good she's been. 2 goals on her birthday on Saturday night. What a story it was. It was such a good story. It was a front page of the Press Democrat sports section. Carrie Benefield's excellent written article about Hazel's big night on her 17th birthday. We talked to her after that El Cerrito game. That interview's on our YouTube channel. Hernandez Ramirez back to Muganum. 5 minutes left. Petaluma looking for an equalizer at the end of this first 40 minutes. Feel free to leave your comments in the live chat. Some folks have already been doing an excellent job of that, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at the break. You can like this video, subscribe to our channel, and you get an email whenever we go live. So we've got plenty of spring sports coming up. This is going to be our last winter sports live stream in all likelihood. But spring sports live streams are just around the corner. We got about 2.5 weeks to our first softball live stream. So the Trojans take on Redwood. DeCarlo, dangerous player for the Cougars. Averages over half a goal per game, 10 goals on the season. A little bit too far for everyone. Petaluma looking for runs from their players, but I feel like this Cougar team is too smart to let players in behind if they're not holding their line. Petaluma's going to have to build it up from the back, as we've said, to form another goal. Their first was on the counterattack, though. Under 4 to go. More substitutions for head coach Luis Pinto in his first year. He was the JV head coach last year, so not that he's unfamiliar with these players, but it's taken a while to develop everything. Soccer's a rhythm. You have to play as one, build a team chemistry up, and really work things out. But once it happens, it can really be a success. There's a reason they call it the beautiful game. Herman, I believe, was taken out from behind, and the Petaluma crowd is confused why that's not a foul. It's hard to handle this game, though, if you're the refs, considering the physicality. 2-1 the score. Petaluma struck first with Herman. Cougars answered just a couple minutes later with brilliant passing down the field. The run by Mia Colombanini. The pass to her twin Ella Colombanini, and it left the leading goal scorer on the Cougars. Campo, adequately named for Campolindo, all alone to easily finish. And then 10 minutes later, when Petaluma was certainly building up a little bit more of a rhythm, one of the worst goals that keeper Savannah Sessi's led in all year, just kind of a weird angle, and it got around Sessi, who wasn't really expecting it. It was Colombanini with that one. That is the difference right now in this NCS semifinal. Guggenhauer, Crysdale, Frothinger. She was so big, making some runs. She has speed, but her passing touch can be excellent. Read that time by Campo. Barry. Falls to Rodriguez. Trojans haven't lost a game all year, and they've come from behind in numerous games to at least get a draw. Excellent move by Rodriguez. The freshman's got speed as it's cleared out. Rodriguez is the next Melissa Rocha. She's similar size-wise, short but speedy, and her touch is excellent as well. We'll go for a goal kick. Under 2, the clock will stop in the stadium, and it's now up to the referee's discretion when to end this first half. On a freezing Wednesday night here in late February, Petaluma looking for its first NCS championship game in girls soccer history. For a team that's already won its first league pennant since 2013 when they were co-champs, and their first pennant outright since 2007. Dangerous play. Lambert just able to knock it out. The defender for Petaluma has been the definition of excellent, and that actually went off the Cougar player, went off Campo. So that just adds to the exceptional wizardry of the defender Lambert. Knock it off Campo and get the goal kick. She couldn't have done better there. And if not for her, there could easily be a couple more goals in the back of the net for the Cougars. Has to be under a minute left here in the first half. Head coach Deacon Babal 3-2 in NCS. Really devised up an excellent game plan in the first half, but he's going to need to do some work with the clipboard in the next 10 minutes he has before we have 40 more minutes of soccer. We've reached the end of the first half. It's the Campolindo Cougars 2 and the Petaluma Trojans 1. Well, here I am. If you're just joining us, I'm Griffin Epstein, and we thank you for tuning in here from the NCS semifinal for girls soccer. And it's certainly an exciting first half here between the Cougars and the Trojans. We expected it. We knew it was going to happen. Both these teams have a lot of firepower, especially offensively, and we expect to see some more goals in the second half. I think the thing that has surprised me the most has been the physicality. Soccer is not always the most physical game. This just looked like a full contact sport out there. Petaluma's been fighting, but the Cougars' passing rhythm has been excellent. That got them the first goal. And the Cougars' physicality themselves, they've really been able to establish a rhythm at, as you can see, that kind of middle third of the field between the two 40-yard lines. And that's allowed them to get their offense, keep possession, and a very patient team. They've really been able to build a Petaluma defense that is one of the best in the Bay Area. They have every single defender, all 4 defenders, 3-year varsity players or better on their defense. But there's no doubt they have probably not in their career seen a good offense as the defending champion Cougars are. And they're going to be tested to keep the ball out of the net, and we'll see if Savannah Sessi can make up for a poor goal she gave up early in the game. Was not a goal that Sessi probably should have given up and one she'd want back. But if you're the Trojans' freshman goalkeeper, she's been so mentally strong all year. She'll have to turn her head, and I think there's no doubt at some point she's going to have to make a save, though Lambert has been excellent defending. Offensively for Petaluma, they have to build that rhythm in that second 40. They've done a better job, I think, as the game's gone on. They were very slow to start, as they have all year. They've built things up a little bit. They've gone in more of a rhythm, but for Petaluma, they're going to need to continue to be physical there and just get in a better rhythm passing-wise. I think the Cougars have been reading their passes very well, and that's been a big part of the issue for Petaluma, trying to get it up to Hazel, Herman, Goggenhauer. They obviously had that excellent pass to Herman that led to the fast break and the score. But for the most part, they haven't held the ball long in the area of the field where they are so dangerous and very lethal for a team. They've scored 9 goals 3 different times this year. They scored 3 goals against El Cerrito, both times against a very good team in NCS. And this Trojan team has the capability, and there are some weaknesses on the Cougars, both in their goalkeeping and overall on their defense. But there's no doubt they've devised up an excellent game plan here early. We've got 9 viewers tuning in, which is excellent. We have Ricky tuning in as well. Keep those comments going in our live chat. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to talk to us. We are about 5 minutes from the start of the second half and see if Coach Babala mixes up the offense for Petaluma, because it felt like the rhythm was telegraphed and the Cougars were really ready for everything that Petaluma brought offensively. The Trojans are going to have to mix it up, give a new look to the Cougars, and get their head on a swivel. Petaluma's passing and rhythm offensively can get to an area where it's really you're looking every way and you don't know where the ball's coming next. And it hasn't totally been like that early in this game for Petaluma. So it'll be interesting to see in the second 40 minutes if the Trojans can do that. Do not have a score yet from Moraga between Miramonte and Annalee, but we're hoping to get that before the night is done. So whoever comes out on top will learn who they are facing in the NCS Championship game. That will be Saturday night at 7 p.m. We also had some spring sports going on today. The varsity baseball team had their season opener. They were taking on the Drake Pirates, but very good Drake team. Tough start for Petaluma. They fall 3-0. They got shut out by Drake. They're going to continue their season on Saturday against Maria Correa. They've scheduled a really hard non-conference, but there's a lot of young talent on this Petaluma baseball team, so high expectations for them. Girls lacrosse team started their season right behind me here at Ellison Field last night. Especially young team for them. They lost almost their whole squad from last year. They had 12 seniors last year, but Petaluma came out with a victory last night in their season opener. 12-11 victory over Clane Valley Charter. Tight back and forth game. Girls lacrosse team off to a good start. Boys lacrosse team started off their season on Friday. Disappointing for them. They played very well for much of the game, but they blew a late lead. They fell to Branson of Ross in overtime. Petaluma blew a 3-goal lead with just about 6 minutes left in the fourth. That game I was there, so if you want to check that game out, it's on our YouTube channel as well. We're going to be live streaming more softball and baseball over the course of spring sports, and we'll also be out here covering both girls and boys lacrosse, and we'll hope to bring you coverage of all the spring sports. It's the most busiest time of the year for Petaluma, and a lot of these girls soccer athletes, it's not used to playing so deep into their winter sports year, but they are still out there, and a lot of their spring sports are eagerly awaiting them. But you know Petaluma doesn't want this ride to end, and they've got 40 more minutes to maintain it and create history for Petaluma girls soccer, not only just for the program, who's never been to a championship game, but this is the first time in 6 years that any Petaluma team has made it to a NCS semifinal game, and there has been no team this decade, with the exception of the boys soccer team 3 years ago, that won the NCS championship, but it was an abbreviated season because they played in the fall and most big schools played in the winter. So excluding them, no Petaluma team this decade has made it to an NCS championship game. Petaluma with a chance to do that tonight, and it's been a lot of noise, a lot of energy. We've seen the nerves for Petaluma with the keeper Stassi and everyone early. They're going to have to play their next 40 minutes as life and death. They've done it so much this year. They've treated every game like it's their last game. This could be their last game for many of these influential seniors. They've got to play like they got to avoid it. We have 3 minutes left before the start of the second half, and appreciate everyone tuning in live. If you missed any of our other girls soccer coverage of course of the year, including our NCS quarterfinal game, we were here. It was a terrific atmosphere on a Saturday night. I'd say the stands behind me were about half full. Really electric. Petaluma defeated El Cerrito 3-0. And again, Petaluma really controlled. It was a lot of fun. And we've been here for a lot of the big games for Petaluma girls soccer over the course of the year. Their 1-1 draw with Casa in the home Egg Bowl. Gaucho's own goal late gave the Trojans a key draw and helped Petaluma on to a VVAL title later on in the year. Their first VVAL pennant ever in the inaugural season of the Vine Valley Athletic League. And we had their season opener as well, and a couple other big games for the Trojans. They had victories over Sonoma Valley and Vintage. Those are both on our YouTube channel as well. So after this game, you want to check out more girls soccer. They've been so fun to watch. They've really been the most successful and dominant team here at Petaluma, with maybe the wrestling team getting in on that debate. They've been a joy to cover, a joy to watch. And if this is our final game of the season covering Petaluma girls soccer, then it has been a great ride for me and for Trojan Live over the last 2 years to cover this team. Can we switch? No, my cam. Oh, wow. Wow. Well, we're just going to switch cameras off me so I don't have to strain my eyes anymore, but yeah. Take a look at that moon with the over the clouds there, and maybe the full moon will be good luck for Petaluma. And they need a comeback. They are gathered in a circle out on the field. Head coach Deegan Babal surrounding them and trying to encourage them on to their first ever NCS championship game. Appreciate the support from Colin Prieto in the live chat. Any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free. See this moon rising over the clouds on this very chilly night here. This beautiful, newly renovated Steve Ellison Field. Mentioned the wrestling team. They've had a great year as well. Connor Pedersen, who made it to state. First boy wrestler to make it to state this year. What a remarkable match he had to make it there on Saturday. He'll be at the Rabobank Arena starting tomorrow for the CIF Wrestling Championships, as will Brooklyn Shattuck on the girls' side. So the Petaluma Wrestling VVAL champions, their season continues individually. They had an exceptional NCS championship on Saturday, finished 10th as a team overall. Final preparations from Coach Babala and Coach Nieto. Campolindo and Petaluma, 40 more minutes to decide who is moving on to the NCS championship game. Can Petaluma play their best soccer? They were so good on Saturday. I really thought it was the best I'd seen them all year. I don't think it's been the same in this game, but no doubt this Campolindo team is different. Trojans have won 9 games in a row. Their last game they didn't win, a draw against Marin Academy, a 1-1 draw back all the way on January 19th. It's been over a month since they've last lost. Trojans stands packed with supporters. They yelling and shouting as they headed back out. Try to encourage their Trojans and will them to victory at Ellison Field. There's been so many times Petaluma's lost in the NCS semifinals. Last time they were here in 2014, they were number 6 seed. They lost to Montgomery 2-1. Time before that, 2007, they were a 4 seed. They lost to Montgomery 1-0 in the semifinals. And my thorough research, they were in the semifinals back in the 90s almost every year, and yet every year they lost in the semis. Last 2 years have been a curse in the quarterfinals, but it's a program curse to lose in the semis. Can Petaluma get the monkey off its back here tonight? They will switch sides of the field, switch goals. It's Petaluma in the purple, Campolindo in the white. What adjustments will we see by both sides out of the locker room? Two very smart coaches with very good players as well. The bad news for Petaluma is Rodriguez is still out there, so that in all likelihood means Amanda Rocha is done for the night. Hard foul about halfway through this first half. Took her out, and she was really limping on the way back to the bench, and there she remains. You know she wants to play in the biggest game, but at the moment, not out there. Did you press anything?
I just clicked on the screen, and it was like that because I could see it in the corner.
Well, we hope you are still able to see. 38 minutes left right now in Petaluma season, trailing 2-1. Colombanini, she's just a wizard darting through this Petaluma defense, gives it to her twin sister, and Muganum takes it away. Nice job by the Trojans not letting the run all the way through. Defense has played up for the Cougars and been aggressive. It's been so hard to get into rhythm. Herman, an excellent play down the sideline, nearly takes it away from Ortman, who's just able to get it to where that was Ingersoll for the Cougars. Looking for Guggenhauer, who has totally been taken out of this game for Petaluma. A player that can score from anywhere. She's barely gotten a touch on the ball. We saw Casagrande do that very successfully. Maybe the Cougars have watched a little film of their own. They have been ready, no doubt. All the way back to the keeper, Sessi. She's let 2 in, tied for the most this year. The ball, I don't know exactly where. I think it hit Sammy Colon on the head or somewhere up in the collarbone area. Whatever the case, she's in some pain. She just tried to take the ball off her chest, and it did not end up as the freshman would have liked. So she's going to be tended to, as the refs wisely stopping play to check out her. Cougars coming 12-4-3 overall. They were 8-2-2 in the Diablo League. Petaluma 16-0-3, 11-0-1 to win the VVAL. As Colin comes up, she looks to be in some pain. So now the injuries for Campolindo as well. Petaluma 2 players down already coming into this one, and now down one of their best defenders in Amanda Rocha. Frothinger will take the kick. She's been active throughout, but hasn't been able to generate the moves downfield she saw Saturday night in the Petaluma's 3-0 victory over the Gauchos. Lewis will clear it away. We mentioned if Petaluma can get shots on goal, she is a weakness for the Cougars. Only 3 saves per game for her. She allows over a goal per game. She allowed 10 goals over the course of the year. And Cougars haven't been even able to trust her full time, as this is going to be a corner for Campolindo. Also played Anna Solomon a fair amount this year, who hasn't been much better for Campolindo. 46 saves on 53 shot attempts. Has allowed 8 goals in. Also just over 1 goal allowed per game. First corner of the second half for the Cougars. Deep, probing, and over everyone. Just fired towards the net, and the clearance was missed by Rodriguez. Another opportunity. That one, though, heads over all the heads and out behind the purple end zone. Six minutes gone in this first half. And Petaluma will make a substitution. Guggenhauer off, and here comes back on Amanda Rocha, the 3-year varsity player. The extraordinarily talented junior defender will take a return to the field about an hour in real time, 40 minutes in game clock, since she went out with an injury, but Petaluma has one of their best players back on the field. That's big as Crysdale's looking for Herman. Able to just get a piece of it. Crysdale nodding in. Petaluma's got to get more aggressive. They got to be willing to get their feet in there, dive on the ground to get anything going, because this offense is still struggling to control the ball on the Cougars' end. Colombanini. A little bit too far for everyone. Colin's going to come back on for the Cougars after her injury as Masoni takes a seat. Campo looking for back-to-back NCS titles and their 7th in school history. They've been a dominant powerhouse basically since their inception in a girls' soccer program back in the 80s. Always near the top and often raising pennants. They know how to do it, tested it, and true. Winner will head to the NCS championship game and get an invitation to the state championships, which will be next week, quarterfinals. That's a foul. Columbanini fouls Crysdale, picks her up. Good sportsmanship. State championships will be next week, February 26th, 28th, and the championships on March 2nd. Either of these teams would go into Division III for CIF, just like they are in NCS. Campo got a taste of last year, falling in the first round 3-2 to Sacred Heart of San Francisco. Trojans even with that set piece, just not able to get into a rhythm. And the Cougars have been so patient, done an excellent job ball control. The Trojans, we said it, do they know how to generate offense when they don't have the ball? And they did with their one goal on a counterattack by Herman. Did better the second 20 minutes of that first half when no goals were scored to get a little bit more opportunity. Didn't really get any good looks, but were able to have control of the ball. Not the case here in the first 9 minutes of the second half. Nodded forward, looking for Hazel. And in my mind right now, Petaluma is going to have to get either Hazel or Guggenhauer involved. They are the best players on the field. For Petaluma, Hazel has 13 goals on the year. She had 2 on Saturday night. She scored 6 goals in the last 4 games. The junior is the leading goal scorer for Petaluma both this year and last year. They need her to get the ball in her feet and find a way to put it in the back of the net. Guggenhauer's on the bench right now, and she's been even quieter than Hazel, but she also has that same capabilities, 11 goals, second leading goal scorer, and was really, even though she didn't score against El Cerrito, her offensive prowess was a big factor in that one. This is a dangerous set piece by Lambert, who's excellent. Hernandez Ramirez to Crysdale. She's got some friends. Feeds it to Herman. Now can Herman cross here? She's got to make a nice move. Excellent defense by Grace McCauley. And for statistically a Campo team that struggled defensively, only 3 shutouts this year, and 2 goalkeepers that have not been great statistically. They have been excellent tonight. Foul on Herman. She pulled down the Cougar player. Miss hit. Crysdale pulls it down. Barry does have scoring capability too. She led Petaluma in scoring last year until she tore her ACL halfway through the year. A very tragic injury. Crysdale gave it a go, but that's a little bit desperation there if you're the sophomore Charlotte Crysdale. The angle was near impossible, though you never know with nervy goalkeeping. It's only a junior in net, though Lewis does return from last year's NCS championship run. Herman has really been the most active player for Petaluma offensively. She's been the player that the Cougars have given options to. Petaluma's going to have to hope for a mistake. Pressure this Campo defense. The youth that statistically is in the Cougars' numbers is not apparent. Foul called. Dangerous set piece here for Petaluma. This is an excellent position from the 15-yard line. Lambert is going to come up and take it. We've already seen her prowess. She hasn't scored a goal all year, but there's 100% she can put the ball on net if she wants, or not spend a spiraling one towards some welcoming heads. She'll fire! Scores! And is brilliant! The senior 2-year co-captain has blown the roof off Steve Ellison Field, and you can't put a roof on a stadium, but she somehow just blew it off anyways. Unbelievable. Petaluma's got to keep their heads about. I would say Lambert did. She had no reaction to scoring. I'm not sure if she knew she didn't score or she just is so dialed in, but that was a dialed-in shot. Back of the net, 30 yards out, and her first goal of the season. The senior defender acted like it was nothing. She's been one of the best players out on the field tonight. She adds a equalizer to that as we are knotted at 27 minutes left. Trojans trying to get it to Rodriguez. The stands, which are a little bit quiet with the Cougars controlling it, have woken back up. And again, a Petaluma goal really out of nothing. Herman's goal was not out of much. A foul by the Cougars in a dangerous spot, just a poor decision, and Lambert takes matters into her own hands. And use that weak goalkeeping as the mustard that was put on that ball needed a very talented keeper to keep it out. Lewis not up to the task. Goal was scored 56th minute, I should say, to equalize this up at 2. Back and forth we have gone. The Cougars have had the possession, but Petaluma all year long, even in games they have been outplayed, it's a will to win. They know how to win, and they'll find a way to win. The Trojans clapping their hands. Kendra Berry, the senior, cheering, just looking at her teammates, saying, let's go, let's keep it up. Petaluma did a good job after their goal with more energy, but the energy kind of cost them. It hyped them up almost too much, and Ceci led in a goal she certainly would have wished she had it. Frothinger takes it away. Cougars want a foul, no call. They've called it loose. Herman gets it to Hazel, razzle dazzle, but a little bit too much. She almost fell over on the soccer ball. Hernandez Ramirez looking for Rodriguez, intercepted by Colombanini, who's gone a little bit quieter. You certainly see Petaluma's energy after the goal. You start to feel a little down. The thoughts creep into your head, could this be it? Well, Lambert's taken all those thoughts away very quickly. Muganum battling hard with Ortman. It's going to stay Petaluma ball. Ortman, the junior defender, 10 steals, one of the best defenders on the Cougars. Part of a courageous effort tonight to slow Petaluma, but it's been some moments of magic for Petaluma. As Crysdale is thrown to the ground. Some moments of magic have made the difference. If you would only look at possession, passes completed, shots on goal, they'll all favor the Cougars. But in the end, who moves on? It's up to the just two numbers. The score for the home team and the score for the visiting team. Right now, both are 2. Excellent give and go. Hernandez Ramirez got a piece of it, and then Muganum stepped up, took one from the team off her body. Pass is read by McCauley. Colombanini, Rocha's on her, trying to not let her get around her, but Amanda Rocha, after her injury, looking fleet-footed now, and then just hoping that Ceci would be feeling a little nervous, but the Trojan keeper, who's nearing 100 saves on the year, 91 saves, stout on that. 4.8 saves per game for Ceci. She's going to be well over that. And we mentioned her coming up big sometimes this year. Hasn't been had to be used too much in this game. It's been a slow roast for the Cougars. She had 15 saves in the Petaluma's best result of the year. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the 1-1 draw against Marin Academy. She had 10 saves in Petaluma's 1-1 draw with Casa Grande here at Ellison Field a couple months ago. Hazel trying to battle with a whole pack of Cougs. Cougars trying to get back in a rhythm of their own and find their way. Try to return to the NCS championship game again. Colombanini fell, and a big break for Petaluma. The tick-tock, puzzle-breaking rhythm was starting to form for the Cougs, but all it takes is one slip to ruin it. And lucky there for Petaluma. That was how the Cougars scored their first goal this game. 18 minutes in the first half. A brilliant passing display. 22 minutes left in regulation. Again, if we are tied at the end of 80 minutes, we would have 30 more minutes of extra time, and the winner at the end of that would be headed to the championship game. If we're still tied, we would head to penalty kicks, which are some of the most exciting things you can watch in sports. Some argue they're a lottery and don't really accurately depict who's the best team in the field, but I tell you one thing, they do not lack for drama. I'm going to rule that a Campo corner. It's not at a good angle from up here at Mr. Brazil's patio on the broadcast booth to see, but I don't think the Petaluma fans agreed with that. Second corner of this half for the Cougars. Celio Campo has 31 corner kicks on the year, sends it in, deflects, chaos in the box, and it's cleared. That's all you can ask for the Cougs. Put 8 girls in the box and have it pinball around. It end up on the right foot. Ceci's going to have no idea where the ball is until it's nestled in a corner of a net. Alas, Petaluma survives that time. Do want to thank Mr. Victor Brazil, excellent science teacher here at Petaluma, for welcoming us up onto his patio as our broadcast booth again tonight, as this one is fired towards Ceci, who has to make a not an easy save, as there was some speed put on that one, even though it was well out. The Cougars starting to push more and just fire some balls at the freshman keeper. Looking a little bit desperate themselves. They have to be frustrated. They must feel like they've been in control of this one. And for a young team, how do you handle that, even though there are players that have experienced the NCS playoffs, but half of their team is underclassmen, and less than half return. They have 11 returners on the Cougars squad. All the way to Ceci. That one spiraled way out. I think the goal was to get ahead on it, but it never happened. And the freshman keeper starting to come up big for a shot-happy Cougar team that shoots 13 shots per game. 8 of those which get on goal. Pass a little too far for Crysdale that time. Some of those extra passes have been missing in this one, but nonetheless it forces the clear for the Cougs, and the Trojans can push it up, looking for their first NCS championship appearance. Coming off a 3-0 victory in the quarterfinals against El Cerrito. Both teams had byes in the first round to get here. Plenty of rest going into Saturday for both. Petaluma had a week and a half off, and El Cerrito had just played a couple days before. No advantage here. Both teams with only 3 days of rest. It was a 3-1 victory over rival Acalanes for Campolindo in the quarterfinals. Fired wide. Frothinger gave it a go from 30 yards out. She scored from a similar position against El Cerrito. Was hoping for some magic there, but not that time. 21 viewers. That is spectacular. Everyone tuning in. Don't blame you if you did not want to come out here on this chilly night. It is very, very cold, and it's been windy throughout, but it has not affected the players one bit. Goggenhauer re-enters. Trojans super senior make a difference. Excellent steal and read by Colin. They've been doing that all night. Exact weather report, it's 45 degrees, but there's wind to make it feel like 40 degrees out. For the fans sitting out here for 2 hours, it's rough, but the players have been racing up and down in a physical, fast-paced moving game. I don't think they're feeling it. Gets all the way to Crysdale, who fires. That might have been a little bit too ambitious that time for the sophomore Charlotte Crysdale. I don't know how that one got all the way through to Crysdale, but a couple times the sophomore's just taken a shot at goal. She has 5 on the year for a very deep Petaluma team, and Hazel and Goggenhauer are who they run their offense through right now, but there are other options, and the other options have scored tonight. Herman, 15 minutes in on a counterattack. Campo really was dominating early. Petaluma was on the back foot, but Herman on the counterattack struck first to make it 1-0. Campo answered just a moment later, then added a second on what you could call a cheap goal. Hazel running after this long pass. The ball is loose, and that's going to be a foul on Hazel. Lewis is down on the ground with her hands in her face, and she might be in some pain. A risky play for Mallory Lewis to come out and take it, and unable to grab it. And Lewis not moving. The Campo fans want a red. I don't think that's going to be it, but the ref is working on his book, so that does mean Hazel is likely going to get a yellow card, meaning the Trojans' leading goal scorer will need to be careful. You can hear Lewis sobbing all the way from my position in the broadcast booth, about 30 feet away. If you hope, if you're a Cougar fan, that she's going to be okay. There is a backup keeper in Anna Solomon for the Cougars, who's gotten significant playing time this year, but she's only a freshman, and she would be put into the biggest moment of her athletic career. Hazel feels bad as she holds her face, but going in strong for the ball. There's been no mercy in this game by any players. We've seen a lot of players go down hard, and the refs have let them do it. Hazel will get the yellow, to be expected. It's a Petaluma team that's not afraid to be physical. That's their 8th yellow card of the season. The Trojans are going to get a little bit of a reprieve here as they will head over and talk to Coach Babala, get some water. Rarity in soccer, you get a rest. Campolindo, on the other hand, is just gathered by the 10-yard line talking to each other as you see Coach Babala talking to his experienced Petaluma team. And they've substituted a lot this year, but both on Saturday night in their quarterfinal victory and tonight, there haven't been a lot of substitutions. Every player out there has NCS experience. A lot of the players, the majority of the players, have been on the varsity team for 3 years that are out there. You can see Rocha, Muganum, Goggenhauer, Frothinger, just to name a few, as Lewis now getting on her feet, but she cannot feel good looking at the ground, seeming in some pain. I'm not sure what the injury is. She's walking a little gingerly. She might have been hit in the face, and it might also, you worry about a head injury too. She was knocked around. She's moving around her head. Either way, at least for the moment, there's a change in goalkeeping as Anna Solomon, the freshman for the Cougars, will enter. 8 goals allowed on the season. She's saved 3.5 saves per game, and she's allows just over a goal per game. Pretty similar statistics to Lewis herself. Near identical, in fact, though she's played about half the time of the elder Lewis. Solomon has played about half the time of the elder Lewis, I should say. The Cougars get a little burst from their wounded warrior. Frothinger knocks it out, stays Cougars ball. We have 13 minutes, though that lengthy delay has certainly winded the watch for the ref, and there's going to be plenty of stoppage time to add, at least 2 or 3 minutes after regulation time concludes. You wonder about the conditioning. It's been a long season for both. The 20th game for Petaluma and for Campolindo. Trojans have had the good luck, though, of a lot of blowout victories in VVAL. Haven't had to play all their starters deep. They still look pretty fresh, as Herman was looking for Goggenhauer. Falls to the senior Hernandez Ramirez. Rocha playing it forward to Crysdale. Good battle by the captain for Campolindo, junior Cameron Ingersoll, part of just half of the team that is upperclassmen. A push-off is called on the Cougars as they took it down the flank. 12 minutes left, and since Lambert's goal with 25 minutes left in this game, her spectacular free kick goal, it's been pretty even possession. Not great chances for either side. Hazel had a brief seat after her yellow. She is just re-entering now. The leading goal scorer for Petaluma have a signature moment in her career. The biggest moment for any Petaluma player as Goggenhauer's got some room at the 10. Thinking about shooting, she fires low into the net, and the save is made. Goggenhauer is a shooter. She's not someone that loves to run with the ball. She doesn't have the greatest touch, and that might have been the decision there to shoot. You saw Goggenhauer hesitate a little bit and hold up and decide to slow down and take a shot, but she certainly had room to get a little bit closer to the net, but she might have just not been confident. She certainly can score from far out. She's made the wonder goal famous here at Petaluma High for her shots from 30 yards out into the corner of net, confusing goalkeepers and leaving them lying on their back, wondering what happened to the ball. Cougars have substituted as will, unlike Petaluma, so their legs you would assume would be fresh. At least that's the goal for Cougars head coach Luis Pinto in his first NCS run. So we approach the 10-minute mark in regulation. VVAL this year did not play overtime, nor did the Diablo League, so neither team has played any overtime. It's been 3 years since Petaluma's last played in overtime in NCS. Trojans again looking for Goggenhauer, who's suddenly come out of her blues for much of this game to get involved. She nearly was able to run that one down. It's absolutely who you want the ball with. Nice job to clear it off Goggenhauer, and it's going to be Cougar ball. Lots of screaming voices on both sides from the stands. Many of the Trojan fans standing, as are the Cougar fans. The nerves are evident. The tension is palpable. A spot in the NCS championship game on the line in the next 10 minutes here at Ellison Field. For the Trojans, it would be the first championship appearance in school history. For Campo, it would be a return to the NCS championship game of last year and a chance to go back-to-back. Handball before Goggenhauer connected with that one. Stolen away. McGannum gets it forward. Hazel. Trojans starting to control that ball in the middle third of the field as they look for Goggenhauer over the top a little bit too far. And for the first time, Solomon will get to touch the ball as she comes out and gets her hands warm. Petaluma has switched up its offense. They've moved Herman back. Herman's actually currently not playing. And they've moved Goggenhauer to that right flank, and it's been Petaluma looking for Goggenhauer now time and time again offensively. Not a bad decision by head coach Deegan Babal to try to do something different with this Petaluma offense that, in terms of buildup, has been completely stymied tonight. One goal coming out of a counterattack run, the other off a set piece. A beautiful free kick by Lambert to equalize it in the second half after the Cougars led 2-1 at the break. Colombanini has a goal tonight. Back to Rocha. Back up to Colombanini. It's good ball control, good rhythm by the Cougars, something they've struggled to have in these last 10 minutes. They've looked a little bit more frantic and a little bit more nervous, and after a Petaluma team that looked like they were feeling the nerves more in the first half, I'd say it's the Cougars more in the second half. McGannum falls to the ground, and she's in some pain as the senior defender laying there. McGannum looked like she kind of knocked over a Cougar, and then I think there was some retaliation offered. So now McGannum's going to need some assistance as there's been player after player lying on the turf in this one. Injuries have been a storyline, no doubt. And now another experienced defender for Petaluma. We already saw Rocha go out and re-enter, but she was out significantly. Now you worry about McGannum. Could also be cramps. We mentioned the long season. It's been probably a more physical and intense game than Petaluma's played all year, and maybe in these players' careers, with the hope of a school behind them. The winner will play Miramonte, the number 1 seed, or the number 4 seed Annalee in the NCS championship game. We still have no score yet from Moraga, but they're going to be finishing probably before this one does, as we're going to have more extra time. As McGannum now just getting to her feet, and then she is struggling with that left leg, and she has her knee wrapped up, so you hope it's not a re-injury. Those can really be serious. She's going to hop off the pitch, and Petaluma's going to have to make another substitution. You only hope she'll be able to return in due time. She's been pivotal along with Lambert on the back end tonight. Herman will re-enter for her. The clock says 5 minutes and change, but at this point there's probably more like 9 minutes left. Free kick Cougs. Ortman, the junior defender, will take it. Dangerous position here for the Petaluma defense. All the way through and all the way out. Ceci just lets it go by. Only to make 2 saves in her NCS quarterfinal game. It was a quiet night. She could have completed some probably all her English homework, maybe some math as well. It's been a lot of games like that where she's been no doubt bored in the net. Has not been one of them tonight. Rocha mishits the header, and speaking of Ceci, alert there to come out after a rare mistake by the junior defender. Ortman trying to get it to Colombanini, but Petaluma's done a much better job on Mia Colombanini. She's had 1 run, I would say, in the second half. The Trojans have put a big focus on her. No doubt head coach Deegan Babala has done an excellent job. Told his defenders, who are so smart, so experienced, they really work as one. It's an excellent IQ. He told them, you got to keep an eye on Colombanini, maybe even put 2 girls or at least kind of a zone safety on her if she's really getting dangerous. They did that against El Cerrito on Saturday with the Gauchos' best player. Ball's knocked out, stays Cougs ball, under 4 minutes left on the clock, but again, it's really closer to 8. With stoppage time, clock will stop at 2 minutes in the stadium, and at that point, it's our approximations, and only the ref knows how much time. And for the players, it's letting all their hearts out. Extra time means automatically 30 more minutes. And the exhaustion would no doubt start to set in. Dangerously crossed. Middle of the pitch, and Lambert, what a game she's had, clears it away. One player will be the hero. One team will leave with their heads in their hands. A whole season coming down to this. Who will finish on top and who will move on? Who's headed home? Win or go home. That's NCS for you. Down the wing, Rocha's just going to clear it from the legs of Celia Campo, the leading goal scorer for Campolindo, and then some miscommunication on the back end. And the Trojan ball. Late surge here by the defending NCS champion Campolindo Cougars of Moraga, I should say. No problem for Ceci. Guggenhauer, no one on the back end. This Petaluma offense, nearly 3.5 goals per game. So many options. They have something in the book. And the clock will hit 2 minutes. It will stop in the stadium. I'm going to approximate about 6 minutes with a couple injuries in this half, couple substitutions. It's all up to the ref now. His discretion on the watch will decide when and if we're headed to 30 more minutes of soccer to decide who's headed to the championship. Going back in recorded history all the way to 1988 is the NCS records that they keep. Petaluma's never made an NCS championship game. The Trojan team has not made an NCS championship game in any sport, in team sports, this decade, with the exception of the boys' soccer team, which played in an abbreviated NCS with not the full powerhouses. They're playing in the fall with mostly small schools. But don't want to disregard their accomplishments, but it's just not the same level that this girls' soccer team is playing at. This one sent in, and Columbanini was near that if she got a foot on that. Campo players might be dancing near the goal, but instead Ceci collects it, clears it out, when the Cougars right back at it. Hazel looking for Herman again on that right flat. Another interception by the Cougars, who've been reading these Trojan passes all night long. Both teams have been electric of late. Campolindo's won 8 out of 9. Petaluma has won 8 in a row and has not lost a game all year. Campolindo hasn't lost since early January. Looking for Hazel up top. Solomon comes out, it deflects off her own defender. It heads out the back of the goal. Is this a corner kick? I believe it is. Now it's going to be a goal kick. The break by the Cougars, and there was what you would worry about if you're a Cougs fan and having an inexperienced goalkeeper who entered this game just 10, 15 minutes ago, and Annie Solomon did not communicate with her defender, and Hazel had a wide open net if she just could have put a foot on that. It's all the way through to Columbanini. What a move. Already past 2 defenders. Do not let this freshman fly. She's dangerous. Into her twin sister. And McGinnon clears it away. A vital stop as it heads all the way to the Petaluma bench. Has to be around 4 minutes remaining here in normal time. Trojan ball. Frothinger, the experienced junior, makes a couple girls miss. Now she's got some space. Crysdale knocked back. Hernandez Ramirez, one of the unheralded great seniors of this Trojan team. It's going to be dearly missed next year. Foul on the edge there, Petaluma ball. Right in front of the Trojan supporters, blowing their horns or using their voices. Good 30 students have made their way out. As the Trojans push up here, Roach to the defender is going to come up. So they add an extra woman. Lambert sends it in. Headed out. Got to get back now here if you're the Petaluma defense. Excellent battle by Rodriguez, who's in there to at least delay it, and it's sent all the way back. McGannum, who's good to see that she is back out there, by the way. Remember, she limped off, but not too serious, her injury. And in a game like this, it's going to take something pretty serious to keep any competitive player out. It's the biggest game of certainly Petaluma's lives, and for many of these Campolindo players as well. Colombanini. Nice play. Alondra Hernandez Ramirez all the way to clear it back. The Campolindo sideline got very excited with the best player on their squad in the box. These final moments. Header by Barry. She's battling with Ortman. Have to now be at about actually 2 minutes left with all the injuries, goals, and stoppages. But it's all up to the ref, who takes a look at his watch. Fired right to Ceci. Colombanini, 8 goals on the year. She can score from anywhere. Awfully dangerous. And there it is. With that, we have played 80 minutes as the whistle sounds. But not enough to decide who will move on to the NCS championship game. Extra time coming up next between Petaluma and Campolindo. Wow, folks, this has been a wild one. If you missed it, Lambert's unbelievable goal, Jamie. It was pretty unbelievable goal. Jamie Cantieri directing tonight. Lambert's goal for a Petaluma team that has certainly been outplayed in a lot of fronts of this game, tied up this game, and that is why we're in extra time. But it certainly energized this Trojan team, too. They've been a lot more even, I think, with Campolindo after the Lambert goal, and Coach Babal has mixed up his offense a little. He's tried with Gogenauer down the wing instead of Herman, and it's given them some chances. Likely going to see Solomon in net for Campolindo. It's an inexperienced goalkeeper, and the Trojans have done a good job already testing her. They got to continue. Ceci has not looked fazed by giving up a bad goal in the first half. She's been excellent for Petaluma and made exactly those saves we needed to talk about. It's going to be nerves are going to be big here. Can both teams put away their nerves? A hero can decide it, but also one mistake can decide it, especially in soccer where the defenders are put on islands. Petaluma's senior defense has been excellent all year long, but this Campolindo defense, young and had their struggles this year statistically, but they've been up against some really good teams, and tonight I really think they've done an admirable, excellent job really shutting down this Petaluma rhythm. It's been an excellent game. We hope you enjoyed. Again, the overtime rules. There is no golden goal in NCS overtime. No matter if someone scores, we will play the full duration, 2 15-minute periods. This is just like how they do it in the pros in the World Cup. No matter who scores, we'll play first 15 minutes of the first half. There'll be a brief break, and then 15 more minutes after that. At the end of that, if someone is leading, that will be the winner. If not, if there are no goals, or if we are still tied, whatever the score, at the end of 30 more minutes, then we will go to penalty kicks, which we can get into if we get there. And man, the drama of those and the nerves are just on another level if we get there. But the players are certainly not thinking about that. Both coaches have to be discussing more strategy here, more game plan. Is there something in the Rabbits' hat, something that these teams have worked on in practice that they haven't used all year long? Because right now is the time to pull it up with the season on the line in late February. This is as good as it gets, folks. And we're glad that you've tuned in. And if you've missed any of it, it's all archived right on our YouTube channel. You can check it out anytime. You can even go back right now and catch up. Though the live action, you might hear the screams even from Moraga, no matter who scores this goal in extra time, or the screams if we get to penalty kicks. There's the whistle. Let's head back out on the field. We do indeed have bonus soccer, Mr. Aha, and we appreciate all the comments in the live chat. Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson, as well. We've got the two ASB leaders here at Petaluma High School who obviously could not miss arguably the biggest game in Petaluma sports this year. Trojan team has not made it this far to the NCS semifinals all the way since the varsity softball team in 2013. No team this decade has made it to an NCS championship game in Petaluma, and no girls soccer team has ever gone to an NCS championship game. The winner will face Miramonte or Annalee. Correction, it is not 15-minute periods, it's 2 10-minute periods. So 20 more minutes. Will we have a champion at the end? They switch sides of the field again. Back to Lambert. These are the defensive plays you have to handle well. Lambert has been brilliant this game. Frothinger takes it away from Columbanini. Sends it forward. Hazel in tow. It's going to be a little far for her, though Hazel is sprinting way downfield, and she forces the clearance. A panicky play from the Campo defender. Smart nonetheless. Hazel would be the primary suspect for a goal for Petaluma as it's cleared away. It will stay Trojan ball. Solomon is remaining in the game. And if you're just joining us, the Campolindo goalkeeper in the 60th minute went out with an injury, coming out to get a ball and ran into Lauren Hazel. She remains on the bench and is unlikely to return. The backup keeper, freshman Anna Solomon, who's gotten some playing time this year, a significant amount, but not as much as the junior keeper who played in NCS last year on the Cougars run. A fall on the grass there. This is a slick field. There was a little bit of rain overnight, and it's awfully cold too. It might get frosty soon if they're out here much longer. Frothinger. Excellent play. Herman. What a pass by Hazel. Back, trying to get it back to Frothinger, but that was an excellent build-up, one of the best we've seen over the course of the night by Petaluma. Crysdale settles it down. Looking for Herman, but a little bit too far. The tension has just been ratcheted up another level, but these players are playing loose and free. This is the last soccer game they'll ever play in their life. It's the highest quality Bay Area girls soccer can offer, and many of these players will be headed to college next year or in the next couple years to continue at a higher level. Knocked out Petaluma balls. The Trojans have come out the stronger team. To start overtime, just 2 minutes in. This one sent high in the air, but behind the net. Goal kick for Solomon. Frothinger to Barry. It's just cleared out, and right now, for Campolindo, they're just having to clear, but do they have something on the counter? A little taste of the own Trojans medicine, maybe. Still no score for Marinda between Miramonte and Annalee. The winner will face either the 1 seed Matadors, who were 14-3-3 overall, or the Annalee Tigers, the old SCL foe of Petaluma, 11-8 this year, but played in one of the best leagues in the Bay Area in the MBL Oak, with the likes of Carrillo Montgomery and state champion Cardinal Newman. Mishandled, heads out. 6 minutes and change left in this first period of overtime. No matter the score, we will have 10 more minutes after this. If still tied, over penalty kicks. Frothinger. Just carrying the Cougar defender with her. Crysdale feeding it to Rocha. This is the rhythm you've wanted all game if you're head coach Deegan Babal. That one goes a little too far. But the passing rhythm that's really been pretty absent. It's so typical of Petaluma to get into a tick-tock rhythm and just play gorgeous soccer. But it's something that's been absent a lot of this game, courtesy the Campolindo defense. Starting to come alive here in this overtime. There were certainly some glimmers of it in regulation. First 80 minutes. Frothinger with lots of room to work with. It's off Rodriguez, who the freshman getting more playing time. She came in for Roach after she was injured, and Coach Babal entrusting the freshman, the only player out on the field for Petaluma that has not played in any NCS games prior. Trojans win out in the quarterfinals last year, as they did the year prior. Broke that on Saturday night with a dominant 3-0 victory over El Cerrito. Now in overtime against one of the biggest powerhouses in girls soccer in NCS. Can they cross this barrier, this wall that has been built, girls soccer not being able to get to the championship game, and do just that, and set up a date with either Miramonte or Annalee Saturday night at 7 to decide an NCS pennant for a Petaluma team that has not lost a game all season long. They have refused to lose. This Miramonte team has refused to lose an NCS the last couple years. Won NCS last year, even got a State of the State championship. They're ranked 167th in the state, Petaluma 133. Jordan's the 2 seed, Campolindo the 3 seed. So all top 4 seeds made it to the semis here. Deflected, and then just cleared. Back out to Rocha. Just defense sitting back right now for Campolindo. Almost if they're afraid to make a mistake right now. But you feel like if it does go to penalty kicks, it's advantage Petaluma. They've got the more experienced goalkeeper right now that's played longer and is fresher. A little bit too far for Rodriguez, heads out. It's Cougar ball. As DiCarlo runs over to snare it. We've reached past the halfway point of this first half. 4 minutes remaining. It's late Wednesday night in late February. It's freezing, but the action on the field has been enthralling and full with energy from the opening whistle. Jamil Dosery is tuned in as well. While we probably have half the Trojan faculty tuning, and we got 39 viewers. It's not a record for viewers, but for our first girls soccer live stream ever, we might have to do this again in the future years. There's no doubt this girls soccer team has caught everyone's attention around Petaluma with the success they've had this year, and there's plenty of youth on this Trojan team for success in the future. Crysdale, one of them, the sophomore. The Rocha twins will be back next year for Petaluma. Already see Rodriguez out there, but there's a lot of underclassmen from Petaluma that haven't played tonight that will be in the starting lineup next year as the Trojans lose 8 seniors. Under 3 minutes left in the first period of extra time. All knotted at 2. Lambert scored the equalizer with 20 minutes to go. A brilliant free kick from 20 yards out. The defender for the Trojans, senior, headed to college to play soccer next year, has been the superstar for Petaluma in this one. Campolindo has taken a penalty kick this year, if you're wondering. They are 1 for 1 on penalty kicks. Trojans do not have a penalty kick this year, though Ceci has faced 1 penalty kick, which she did not save. That is only if we get to PKs, and we still have about 11 more minutes. But if no goals are scored, we would head to the lottery to decide who's headed to the championship. Cougar ball. Clock is stopped in the stadium. It's up to the ref's discretion when to end this first half of extra time. Ortman nods it forward. Campo. And Rocha. Excellent job to corral it. Now she's got to make sure to clear it. It's taken away. She's battling with Colombanini. Petaluma not out of the woods, and Buchanan, the senior, smartly clears it out of there. Excellent play by Goggenauer trying to will it forward, and the foul is called on Celia Campo, who opened the scoring for the Cougars to tie it at 1, what feels like a very, very long time ago in the first half. So this free kick gets through everyone. Solomon has to come all the way out and take it. Barely a butt on a seat right now at Steve Ellison Field. The stands are not filled, but by the noise, if you were closing your eyes, you might think it would be. Buchanan reads the pass. Falls to the ground as she's thrown down, and that's a foul. That is also, I believe, no, it was just an extra whistle. I thought that was the end of 10. That is the end of 10 minutes here. 10 more minutes of extra time. Is there a goal to win, or are we headed to penalty kicks? There is no break here. All they will do is switch sides. The goalkeepers will make the long, long run. The Trojan fans, signs, cheering. The Campolindo fans also on their feet, up, clapping, encouraging. Banging on the stands, which is why the camera is going a little bit haywire right now. But the Trojan fans trying to use their feet to add a little noise. Cougars will start with the ball as they switch sides of the field. Stolen Hazel. She's got a maze of white jerseys to work through as she nods it forward. She fell to the ground, but the ref waving requests away for a foul. I think it's been an admirable job by the ref in this one. This has been a physical game, but he's kept his whistle in the pocket and his cards in the pocket, except for the appropriate moments. Doesn't mean either side has been too happy about it, but there's a reason these refs are coaching in some of the biggest games of the season and the biggest games of all these athletes' careers. The chat is thriving. Our director, Jamie Cantieri, reports, keep it up. You know, you must be nervous even at home watching this. Sometimes you can cut the tension with a knife. I think right now you could cut the tension with a what's the wooden pick called? Blanking on the name. A toothpick. Thank you. Sometimes you're at a loss for words. You could cut the tension with a toothpick right now. Under 9 to go. An extra time. And this game is evened out over the course. It was definitely Campolindo controlled early and even at portions of the second half. Possession's been about 50-50 in overtime. Frothinger just overpowering her defender. And then a whistle. Foul on the Cougars is the call. And Lambert is going to get an opportunity for a free kick. Certainly something Tessa Lambert pretty good at. She nods this forward. Goggenauer misplays it. And taken away by JoJo. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Colombanini. So dangerous. The players flood forward. But Frothinger takes it away. Been a big game for Frothinger. She touches excellent. A magician out on the field, no doubt. as it somehow got to Rodriguez, and then she just mishandled it. I think the freshman was so surprised that the ball got past the Campo defender, she didn't know what to do with it. Miramonte has one. I very much appreciate Sam Nash. 1-0. Miramonte is to the NCS championship game. The winner will face the Miramonte Matadors on Saturday night. And as we have a foul on Petaluma on that ball, free kick Campo. Likely the NCS championship game will be somewhere in the East Bay at a neutral site, as Miramonte will get a geographical advantage as the 1 seed. 7 p.m. Saturday night, the winner is headed there to face the number 1 seeded Miramonte Matadors, who actually lost to Campolindo the one time they played this year, 1-0. Gogenauer to Frothinger. 6:40 and counting. Ahead to the speedy Rodriguez, but she was running out of real estate. The nerves have been on the Cougars' side, and even though they're the 3 seed, they have all the storied program, they have the history on their side. I think there's less to lose here for Petaluma, as much as they've had an undefeated season, and no doubt they don't want this to end. So far, it's been Campo that's looked a little bit more nervous in this overtime, and Petaluma has been able to dictate their electric offense that can store in an instant. Looking for Hazel here. Solomon is there. Hazel with 13 goals this year, including 6 goals in the last 4 games. The junior has been brilliant, and she can finish from anywhere on the field, as can Gogenauer. Some good finishers of their own, though, on the Cougars. Gogenauer battling with Ingersoll. Centered, fired right into the hands of Silvana Sessi, the Trojan goalkeeper. The save totals racking up for Sessi. She gave up probably the worst goal of the season in the first half that gave the Cougars the lead. She has made up for it. Muganum has made up for any mistakes she's ever made in this game. She gets in the way of that one. This one is fired and just trying to put some mustard or something on it to make Sessi make a mistake. But if you're the Cougars, you got to do better than firing from 40 yards out right into the hands of the reliable freshman keeper. So mentally strong in such a tough position. Cougars building a rhythm here, trying to find something as we've breached past the halfway point of the second overtime period. Ortman tried to get it to Mia Colombanini, and just too far and out. Boy, that would have been brilliant. The angle would have not been easy for Colombanini, but that was a good look for Campo, and if you're Petaluma, you need to reassert the rhythm they had a couple minutes ago. The Cougars have found an extra surge. You're so exhausted, your energy comes in waves at this point. Colombanini takes it away from behind. Gogenauer running through a couple Cougars. And then it falls to the hands of the other Colombanini, Ella. Those are the 2 talented twins for the Cougars to complement Petaluma's 2 talented twins in the Rochas. 3:30 to go. And there should not be much, if any, added time after the 10 minutes are complete. Rocha knocks it forward. Herman giving chase along with Ingersoll, and it's going to be Trojan ball as the senior co-captain Hannah Herman, who opened the scoring for Petaluma, runs right below our patio, our broadcast booth here at Steve Ellison Field. Colombanini with under 3 to go. She can run right through defenses. Got to get a body on here if you're Petaluma, but she gives it off to a teammate. Now Mia Colombanini reappearing, looking to make some fancy moves, trying to get around Frothinger. Centered. Dangerous. Fired! Right to Sessi, who bobbled it. And then scooped it up, causing the Campolindo fans to all hop in the air. Some dangerous Cougs were lurking in the area. Foul on the Cougars right there. That was the first sign of nerves from Sessi. This can't compare to anything she's probably ever experienced in her athletic career. Everyone standing at Ellison Field. 2 minutes remaining, or we are headed to the most exhilarating drama you can find anywhere in sports. Penalty kicks. Hernandez Ramirez. Goggenhauer back to Rocha. We have reached 2 minutes. The clock stopped in the stadium, and it's up to the ref's discretion to decide when and if we head to PKs. Rocha trying to get it to Herman, who needs to settle the bouncing ball down. Excellent touch on both sides. They know how to control. Nodded forward, and it's going to head all the way to Sessi. About 1 minute left, and does the realization start to set in of PKs? Campo trying to get one last open. Hernandez Ramirez taking it away. Goggenhauer at the interception. Looking for friends up top for Herman, a little too far. Barry, Goggenhauer. Just knocked out, and now you just start to clear if you're the Cougars. There's got to be under a minute. The ref takes a look at his watch. Will he blow the whistle? Again, just cleared away by this Cougar defense. What a game plan they brought tonight to slow this Petaluma attack. Goggenhauer open for one last shot. The ref again takes another look at his watch, but still no whistle. Rodriguez trying to settle it down, unable to. One last chance here, Ella Colombanini. And it falls to Frothinger. How much longer can this go on? They've definitely added some extra time. And that is it for extra time. We are headed to penalty kicks. Oh my goodness. The student section is making their way down right to the nearest part of the stands. The tension will... Call him. The tension will be palpable. And can you throw it on me? The tension will be palpable. And man, it is really about nerves now. Penalty kicks are, as we're getting a battery change, we are going to have our camera, don't worry. It's really about the nerves now. It's totally about mentally getting into your spot and just zoning everything out and doing your job, both goalkeeper and kicker. If you're a goalkeeper, you got to place it in the right spot. You want either very low in the corner with good speed, or you want it up in the top hand corner where the goalkeeper can't reach it. But you also don't want to miss, which is why you have to balance that. The goalkeeper, it's really about guessing in soccer penalty kicks. You got to choose which way you're going. You don't have enough time to read it, and you got to hope to guess right. But definitely once the ball comes, you can certainly make some adjustments. For Petaluma, Sylvana Sessi has never played in penalty kicks in her varsity career. Same for Anna Solomon for Campolindo, but she's had a lot less experience over the course of the years. The backup keeper now playing with Campolindo's starting keeper out for the game. Sessi has been brilliant all year. She's been mentally strong. She's going to have to be strong, but same with Solomon. Two freshmen very much going to decide here who goes to the championship game to face the Miramonte Matadors, the #1 seed in NCS. Let's throw it back. Do we have the field cam? Let's throw it back on field. Here we go. Yeah, no need to put up scoreboard. The scoreboard is irrelevant now. And the way this works, They will choose one side of the field. They just did the coin flip, so they're deciding who shoots first. You want to shoot second because then you know the result more so. But the way this works is it's a best or 5 if needed. So it would go all the way to 5. But it can obviously end earlier if it's impossible to come back. And if it's still tied at the end of 5 rounds, so each team gets 1 kick. That's what I mean by 5. If it's tied at the end of 5 rounds, then we would go on. And at the end of each round, if it continues to be tied, we go on until at the end of 1 round, we are no longer tied. Big decision for both Luis Pinto of Campolindo and Deacon Babal of Petaluma. Who do you decide to take these kicks for the Trojans? So many seniors, so many experienced varsity players, nearly their entire team returned from last year. For the Cougars, there's definitely the top talent for them, but they aren't as rich on experience. Only half of their team returners and only 3 seniors. The teams will come out. They will stand on the line. And they will watch one lonely soul approach the net mano a mano with the goalkeeper. There's really nothing more nervy in sports. Nothing has more drama in sports. Petaluma did compete in penalty kicks 2 years ago in NCS, so there are some players out there, especially the seniors and juniors, that have some experience with this. Petaluma beat Sonoma Valley in penalty kicks. First round of the NCS playoffs 2 years ago. Campolindo did not compete, did not have penalty kicks this year in any regular season game, nor did they last year. You see Sessi and Solomon are out of your picture, running down to the net. Who will they send? 2-2. These teams competed, they battled for 100 minutes, but 100 minutes was not enough. The ref giving final instructions here to both sides. For Petaluma, it looks like it's going to be exactly the seniors and juniors who 3 are varsity players that have led them this far. Hazel, Frothinger, Gogenhauer are on the line, as I can see. Hernandez Ramirez as well for Petaluma. Likely going to see both Colombanini sisters for Campolindo, only freshmen, but they've been some of the more talented. The Cougars will go first. It's Savannah DiCarlo, the senior forward, 4 goals on the year, will make the lonely walk to face Silvana Sessi in the far end zone. Here we go. DiCarlo against the freshman goalkeeper Sessi. Right to Sessi! Sessi makes the save! Silvana Sessi with the save of her life. She might have to make a couple more, but not a good penalty kick by DiCarlo. Sessi barely had to move and just puts up her hands and says, "No, sir." So the Trojans will put it now in the hands of the 3-year varsity junior Zoe Frothinger, co-captain and one of the leaders of this team. She faces Solomon. The placement needs to be better than you saw with the last kick. You want to put it in the corner. As it goes nearly silent here at Ellison Field. Could not be more tension. Nerves and intensity. The spot in the championship game on the line. Petaluma, if they win, the first time they would ever go to the NCS championship game in girls soccer history. Frothinger! Off the post! You want to put it in the corner. Frothinger nearly placed it perfectly, but just a little bit too far wide. And the goalpost should be given a kiss by Anna Solomon to thank it for its good services as it keeps that one out. My goodness, still no score through 1 round. Scored! And the Cougars take the lead. Perfectly angled in the corner. That is more like a reliable goal kick, penalty kick, I should say, as you want. Sammy Colin with the score there. And now Petaluma will send Lauren Hazel down, the leading goal scorer. Can she answer? No, the save is made. Not a good kick by Hazel, who's had a quiet night. And an excellent play by Solomon to come over and just bat it away. Yeah, you certainly could cut this tension with a toothpick. Maybe even if you cut the toothpick in half. So 1-0, Campolindo now on the third round. This would be huge to really give Campolindo a stranglehold on this. Ortman fires past Ceci. Excellent run up by Ortman. She fooled Ceci, made her go left, and Ortman finished to the right. Guggenauer does not have to score, but if she does not, it is dire straits for Petaluma. Guggenauer. What a year, what a career. 11 goals on the season. Save is made! Solomon gets her left hand on it. And again, it's the placement for Petaluma after Frothinger nailed one on the post. The Trojans just look afraid right now to put it too far to the corner. It was easy for Solomon, and now Ceci must make the save or Campolindo's going on to the NCS championship game. They'll entrust Cameron Ingersoll, the junior forward, to do the honors. Ingersoll over the post. There were some nerves. She flies it high, and the Trojans are still alive. They must make this one, save the next one, and score the next one. Kendra Berry, senior midfielder, 6 goals, 6 assists on the year, was the leading scorer last year, and she'll tore ACL halfway through the season. She's got a chance to keep Petaluma alive, keep their dreams alive, and keep an undefeated season alive. What a job Solomon's done. Off the inside of the post, and it goes in! The post is cruel, but as Shakespeare said, it giveth and it takes. I don't know, Shakespeare, I think I got it wrong. But the crossbar con to Petaluma. Can Ceci do it again? Kendall Runkell, the sophomore forward. I'm sorry, it's Nicole Huebner. She scores, and Campolindo is going to the NCS championship game. The season ends for the Petaluma Trojans in shocking defeat, and the Cougars will have a shot at going back to the title. Huebner, the hero for the Cougars. That was probably the best penalty kick of the night. It had swerve and derve right into the corner. The Petaluma fans now getting up and cheering. Heartbreaking way to end it for the Trojans. Ecstasy for the Cougars. And now they have a chance to go back-to-back against Miramonte. For Petaluma, their undefeated season comes to an end, and the curse continues for girls soccer, unable to make it to a championship game. But man, it was not for lack of effort tonight. Penalty kicks are a lottery. They come down to little things not necessarily decided in a full soccer game, and in the end, the Cougars were a little bit more gutsy, a little bit smarter with their kicks, and too many Trojan kicks were easy saves for Solomon. And that really was the difference in penalty kicks in a game that Campolindo controlled early. Petaluma battled back, really was the better team in overtime. In the end, it was an even match as the score shows 2-2. But the penalty kicks, 3-1 to Campolindo in the 5th round. A long huddle for Petaluma as they leave. We are going to try to do some live interviews on the field as we will talk to what have to be some heartbroken Trojan players. We appreciate all the viewership here tonight, but heartbreak in the end, unfortunately, for if you're a Petaluma fan. But Campolindo sweet joy here tonight as their season continues. Final score once again 2-2. As Petaluma's season concludes, they finished the season 16-1-3, just one blemish, and it was this one. Stay right here. Interviews are coming up next. A great game tonight and an amazing season for Petaluma girls soccer, an amazing career for the 8 seniors that will leave for the Trojans. So stay right here. We'll be right back with interviews. Coming up in just a moment. And Petaluma girls soccer, a season to remember, a year to remember, and you cannot define them by the penalty kicks, by the way this finished, but the way they played tonight, as you look overall, very impressive. Especially they were down and out early. Campolindo looked better early in this game, and the Trojans fought back at their 2 goals. Herman and Lambert both kind of added nothing, but they showed the Trojans' will to win, and they refused to lose until it got to penalty. Nothing to be defeated for the Trojans. And even though they do, so many of them as well, the lost shot feet. You have to celebrate their accomplishment this year of the AL title, an undefeated regular season, and the farthest any girls soccer team had gone in 6 years. Campolindo will face Miramonte. What a performance by their freshman goalkeeper, who didn't even expect to play in this game, comes in last 20 minutes. And she made 3 saves to give the Cougars the victory. Saturday night, 7 p.m. Campolindo will face Miramonte. Trojans will be back next year with many of their talented players, but I think everyone on the girls soccer team for coverage this year. We've done more girls soccer coverage than most sports over the course of the year, and it has been so much fun to cover this team. They are so talented, but they play with a great verve, and there's no doubt they will be missed this year on their campus, and the energy they really brought. Hopefully you're able to hear me on this. Can Jamie still talk to you, Ben? Are they able to hear me on this? All right, hopefully you're able to hear me on this as you see the girls soccer team gathered in front of me. Head coach Deegan Babala, his final words this year to the team. Petaluma has grown a powerhouse here, and you will expect it to continue. We mentioned in extra time the talented young players on Petaluma that will continue this legacy and continue this program. And a Trojan team that was also down a couple players too. They got injured in this game. They were already down to Thedwa Edwards and Melissa Rocha, 2 of their most prolific offensive players for most of the year, or for the second half of VVAL, at least I should say. And they still persevered through it, and they were still dominant. And they kept on finding ways to win. Credit to Coach Babala as well. His 3rd year. He built this program to new heights last year. They faded a little bit. Successful year, fell in the NCS quarterfinals. He finally took them a step further. And even though they wanted an NCS pennant, they wanted to go even further. Have to be happy with it. Happy with the overall season. Well, more than happy, I'd say. That's a bad word to describe the year. I have to be ecstatic, overjoyed when you look back, and there are going to be so many memories that these players will hold for the rest of their lives on what they accomplished on this beautiful Steve Ellison field and on the road. Coach Babala, long words, no doubt, to this team. There's a lot to talk about as they fall
in penalty kicks, what's really a flip of the coin. Which way does the goalkeeper go? Where do you place the ball? And Petaluma saw one hit the post, not go in. One hit the post, go in. It really was a lot of luck, and a lot of luck comes down to a game like soccer where there aren't a lot of goals. It's also my final game calling girls soccer, so for me personally, coming out to Steve Ellison Field has really been a pleasure. This team, as we mentioned, they both the way they play, but also the way they act and perform and live their lives is admirable, and they're great people to be around as well. They've brought so much to this program, to the school, to this field. And they've been a pleasure to cover, and we hope you've enjoyed all our girls soccer coverage on Trojan Live. Again, we mentioned it. It's all up on our YouTube channel. If you missed any of it over the course of the year, and if you missed any of this game, what a thriller it was, stay on our YouTube channel for prosperity. Campolindo departing. They will face Miramonte once again on Saturday, and likely both will go to the state championship game. There's an outside chance Petaluma could be invited, but likely only if a lot of teams declined, and it's hard to see the Trojans accepting at this point. You can tell it in their eyes. They think the season, in all likelihood, is probably over. Petaluma departs for a final time, and we have interviews next. Ben, can you hold this camera? Otherwise it falls. Thank you. And can you do that as well? All right. Hopefully the camera's on me right now. I don't know. Tessa Lambert is taking some photos. We're going to talk to her what a game she had tonight in her final game on this Steve Ellison Field. What a career she's had. She's a 4-year varsity player, and you build it up for a moment like this, an NCS semifinal game, to play against an amazing powerhouse of a team in Campolindo, to have a moment, go to penalty kicks, extra time, get the experience that you had tonight. Certainly something Lambert played for her career, and she was the star tonight. Her goal to equalize the game, but her defense as well limited a very prolific Campolindo offense to 2 goals, and it certainly could have been much worse here tonight. The defense for Petaluma really fought valiantly. They didn't give up any goals in the final 60 minutes of the game. After the Cougars came out, very prolific offensively, got a lot of chances, and credit to Sylvana Stessi, too. Wasn't able to come up with all the saves in the penalty kicks, but she was brilliant, made some big saves over the course of the game as well. Tessa Lambert about to make her way over. Got a lot of supporters in this packed crowd here at Petaluma here tonight. All right, defender senior Tessa Lambert joining me after a whale of a game here in the NCS semifinals against Campolindo. I know it has to be heartbreaking to lose in penalty kicks to end the season in your career. What are the emotions?
Well, I mean, we went the whole season undefeated, and I felt like we finished the season truly undefeated, because losing in PKs shows like that does not represent us as a team at all. I think it's half luck, honestly. And I mean, I'm devastated, but I think we've set an example for future Petaluma teams, and I had a great season, so it's really sad, but yeah.
You, though, had an amazing game today. The equalizer, your first varsity goal this year. And then you reacted like it was nothing. Take us through that whole goal, your approach, especially in the set piece.
Oh gosh, my approach. I definitely, like, there was a pretty big crowd today, which can be stressful, but I took a deep breath, and the keeper was further to the right, so I just shot it in the left. Yeah, I was excited, but I kind of tuned out everything in the moment. and everyone crowded me, and I was, I don't get that often, so I was kind of like, whoa. So yeah, I was of course excited, but.
You referenced the impact that this team has had and in the future. What do you think this whole season does overall for the program? Undefeated regular season, first league pennant outright since 2009, and making it to the NCS semifinals.
Well, like you said earlier, this is the first team that's made it to semifinals since 2013. So, I mean, I think this puts Petaluma on the maps, kind of. Like, Campolindo was well known, and Petaluma was always kind of like, but like this shows that for future years, like we are a true competitor, and we can go further than quarterfinals. We can win it all. Like we won the league, but we can do it all. And fortunately, like we're losing a lot of players, but every single person has made an impact on this team, and so I think the team's got to be so strong for like years to come, which is awesome.
Thank you so much, Tessa. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure to covering you over the years here at Ellison
Thank
Field.
you.
That was Tessa Lambert to the Trojans' heartbreaking defeat here in the semifinals. She was the star, though, of the night for Petaluma. We're going to grab one or two more interviews as we wrap down the evening here from Steve Ellison Field. You want to talk, Ben?
I want to talk. Is that even a question? Harry, hold this camera. Hello, I'm Ben Vandermeer. I was just forced to film this game in 30-degree weather in what may have been one of the most long nights of my life. It was a breathtaking game. Good for everyone. I'm sad.
Hi, Ben. Hi. Thank you, Ben Vandermeer. Here is Kendra Berry. What a crazy game here tonight. You were participating in those penalty kicks. Your shot went in. What were the emotions? What was the process of playing in penalty kicks in a crazy night here at Ellison Field?
Well, I think the fans helped a lot. Penalty kicks in general are very nerve-wracking for everybody. We practiced them in practice all week leading up to the game, which really helped build our confidence. And yeah, it was a tough one, but we did well the rest of the season. So I'm proud with how we ended the season for sure.
Campolindo, storied program, defending NCS champions. You guys were neck and neck with them the whole game, 100 minutes even. What do you think that says about this team this year, and how were you guys able to get to this level?
I think it shows that we're better than people think we do, or think we are. I think that as a team we have built off of last season and kind of just gelled well together, and I think that definitely helped. The friendships, there's no cliques. I think just the team bonding has been great, and everybody wanted it so bad, but we didn't get it, but that's okay.
How many years have you had on varsity?
4.
So you have 4 years on this varsity team, and you've watched it from a good team to now a powerhouse. What do you, when you look back on all these years, gonna remember about your career here at PHS Soccer?
I think this year for sure. I bonded with the team a lot. A lot of the girls I've played with since I was really young, and winning VVAL was huge. But yeah, it was a great season for sure.
Thank you so much, Kendra. It's been a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to cover you.
Thank you.
That was Kendra Berry. We're going to talk to the head coach of the Trojans, Deegan Babala, one final time before we wrap up our night.
It's banging again. I have stroke. I'm losing my mind.
You want to give it back?
I don't know. It's up to
Ben,
you.
you got so many things to say. I don't want to interrupt you. Let the world know your thoughts.
So cold right
So
now.
cold. I thought you needed another coat.
No.
That was my opinion.
No, it's not that. It's not the physical cold. It's
You got the hat though.
it's the mental cold
Mm.
that's really getting to me right now.
I got the mental cold too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the moon though. The moon. You got the moon shot. That was pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Thank you. If I have to hear another one of those moms say, "Get the ball," I'm gonna lose my mind.
All right. Head coach of the Trojans, Deegan Babala. Are we recording? Cool. Head coach of the Trojans, Deegan Babala, joining me one final time here from Steve Ellison Field. Crazy game tonight. Goes down to penalty kicks. How do you look over this NCS semifinal game?
We started a little slow first half. I think just the energy was a little down. We weren't pressing as much as we usually do. Second half, we came out strong, created more chances. We're connecting more passes, which, that's all we're looking for, just to get ourselves back in the game. And we always create chances, whether it's, a free kick or breakaways or just combining and getting shots. So I felt like it went well. It would have been nice, obviously, to get another goal in regulation, because you get to PKs and, it's kind of just, a little bit of luck. Obviously it takes some skill, but a little bit of luck. So
Your third year with this program, you guys had a remarkable season, undefeated regular season, VVAL champs. How are you able to build up this program to now the powerhouse heights that you've reached?
That's a good question. I mean, I've always told the players it starts with them, because I come in here, I'm one person and I'm working with over 20 girls. So it's really important that, I obviously set some standards, but, they are the ones that reach those and push beyond it and challenge incoming players to fit the culture of the team and to bring in good positive energy and to always be playing for, the school. So all I can really do is hope that I get a good group of not just players, but a good group of people. And I've been so fortunate with this team.
Probably the best year in Petaluma girls soccer history. What does this year do for the program, and where do you assess the girls soccer program going forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to win a league and go undefeated through regular season, and obviously it'd be nice to make it to a final, but this is still much further than I can remember Petaluma going in recent years. So it should make younger players excited to be part of the team. It should make the community want to come out and watch some games in the future. So as long as the players that continue to come out are looking to just increase or improve the program and bring more energy to it, I can see this group going a long way.
It's my final game, Coach, so wanted to thank you for all the interviews that you've done with me and all the access I've gotten to the team, and especially these last couple years, you guys have been such a powerhouse. It's really been a joy to cover and watch, and I know the community's really appreciated as well, so just wanted to thank you in my final time.
Of course, thank you. We love having you here, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Yep.
That's head coach Deegan Ball one final time for me, and that's going to do it here from Steve Ellison Field. A huge shout out to Ben Vandermeer. I called him less than an hour, I think, before kick to come out an emergency camera run, and he watched a classic before his eyes in this cold. Big shout out to him. Jamie Cantieri directing. Amazing job as well. And everyone at Trojan Live that's helped out with girls soccer and all our winter sports coverage this year as this wraps up our winter sports coverage. Thank you to everyone, Mr. Knox, and the whole Trojan Live crew for doing an exceptional job this year. What a year for the girls soccer program. Best year likely in program history. This is a powerhouse. They're going to continue to be a powerhouse, and even with the loss tonight, they prove themselves among the elite. They'll be back, no doubt. Final score here from Steve Ellison Field in the NCS semifinals. Campolindo 2, Petaluma 2, but in penalty kicks, Campolindo wins 3-1. Unbelievable year and unbelievable season. And one final time here from Steve Ellison Field. I'm Griffin Epstein. Good night, everyone.